Hello everybody, it's me Heather and I wanted to bring this to you today. This is the Hourglass Modernist eyeshadow palette, and this will be hard to find for a minute, but don't fret, you'll be able to get your hands on this soon. So yes, and let me just not waste any time. Hourglass is coming out with eyeshadow palettes. I have my hands on one here. This is the Infinity eyeshadow palette. And here's what it looks like. Pretty fantastic. Isn't that a beautiful layout? Okay, so let me tell you more about this while you ogle this eyeshadow delight. So again, it's the Hourglass Modernist eyeshadow palette. The one I have here is Infinity. Where did I get it? So thank you. You know who you are. Some of my Instagram friends. And actually, I'll link to her down below, Crazy Love 007. So I'll link to her down below. Thank you, Heather. Her name's Heather as well. She actually tagged me on a photo of this when it was available for a very short time. This was a Barney's New York exclusive eyeshadow palette. Don't fret. You will be able to get your hands on this later, I'll tell you. So it was exclusive to Barney's New York. So if you had the, luck of actually living near a Barney's in New York, you were able to pre-order this and pick it up in store. I live in California. I don't have that luxury. So Barney's did make it available for pre-order on their website for a very, very, very short amount of time. And it was still up in the air because when I pre-ordered it, it gave you confirmation that you pre-ordered it, but there was no guarantee that you were actually going to get your hands on the palette because they were waiting for their shipment to arrive. So if they pre-ordered more than they sold, then they would just refund you your money and you would get no Modernist eyeshadow palettes. So I was one of the lucky ones that got it for the short amount of time that it was available. It retails for $58. And starting next year, I believe as soon as January is what I've heard. As soon as January, I believe, Hourglass is going to start making these eyeshadow palettes in different shades. I've already seen a picture of another eyeshadow palette, and I'm like, oh my God. This is going to be an expensive addiction because these are so gorgeous. So first off, a lot of people are either going to love or hate this design because first off, there's no separations. There's no, there's no pan. There's no dividers. It's all just in there. And I'm also wondering how it's probably going to be like their blushes, their ambient lighting blushes, how some people get more blush than they do lighting powder. Some people get more lighting powder than they do blush. So I'm kind of wondering how if you grab 10 of these and open them all up, how much this is going to vary. If some people are going to have way less highlighter and more of a, more of the darker shades. So I'm curious to see how that's going to be. I did go ahead and swatch this. I'll post the link to my blog where you can see the swatches. Also on my Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, I post swatches of pretty much everything on my Instagram as well. But let me I haven't actually worn it yet. I've only swatched it. So from when I swatched this particular palette, this is Infinity. This one there are 5 shades. All of them are matte except for the middle shade is a shimmer shade. And then everything else is matte. What I have to admit, but this is just swatching on my arm, and I never hold too much stock in arm swatches because the way something wears on the back of my hand or the way it wears on my arm is not going to be how it's going to wear on my face, right? I'm a firm believer in that. So I did swatch these on my arm over primer, and it was kind of mixed results. I'm kind of shocked to say. I found that this shade in particular wasn't as pigmented as I expected, but at the same time, look at this color, guys, and look at my skin tone. It really kind of blended into my skin tone, and I was also doing these swatches at night with artificial lighting, so it could just been my lighting and just my skin tone that made it look, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to blind you, that made it look a little lackluster in pigment. So let's keep that in mind. But let's put it really to the test. You guys can check out the swatches on my blog or my Instagram, and I'm just going to go ahead and play with this now, and we'll see what happens. Oh, and also, obviously, for the sake of time, I'm already wearing makeup, so to save time. And let's just jump right into it. And I am already wearing eyeshadow primer. I'm wearing the eyeshadow primer potion anti-aging from Urban Decay. So I'm just going to put the rest of this on fast forward, and you guys can just watch me do this. And then once I'm done, I'll put it back in regular speed, and I'll just give you my first impression thoughts really quick. I could probably blend this a little more, but I'm going to stop now just so I can go ahead and give you guys my first impression really quick. First off, I wanted to do a size comparison because I know you guys are interested. So here is the box that's covered in eyeshadow right now. There we go. Here's the box that it comes in, and here is the ambient lighting box. Just so you guys can see that size comparison because I know you're interested. So there's the size comparison. And let me get a size comparison of this. This is obviously slightly bigger. This is the ambient lighting palette. The majority of you are probably familiar with this. Some of you may even own it. So here's the ambient lighting, and here is the eyeshadow. Sorry, I know this is just so bright. It's really hard to show this to you guys without blinding you. But this is obviously smaller, but keep in mind this is for your eyes and not your face, so it makes sense that it would be a little smaller. You do get a fair amount of product in here. This is really going to be hit and miss with a lot of people. Like I said before, since there are no dividers, you really want to be careful when you're using this, depending on what kind of brushes you use. If you're using like the flat panel brush and you just tap it, just put it in there and swipe, you're not going to kick up as much product. But when you use a lot of, eyeshadow grabbers like I do, like the pointers that I like to use, grab a lot of product. That causes a lot of product kickback or kick up. So these are pretty powdery. The textures are really smooth, which is really nice, and they blend actually pretty nicely, but you do need a brush that has a little bit more stiffness to it. When I tried to blend it out with a really fluffy brush like this, what they call it, when I tried to use like a little blending brush, a fluffy one like this, it just took longer to blend because it wasn't grabbing a hold as much product. So using something that was just a little bit, had a little bit more grab to it, a little bit stiffer, that made blending the eyeshadows easier. But no, they do have a very lovely, buttery, soft texture. Actually, in pretty good pigmentation. The pigmentation's actually quite nice. Even this one, which I really like actually because it does give you that really soft matte highlight. There's no shimmer. And it's hard to overdo because I actually applied quite a bit of this and I thought it was a little too sheer at first, but actually it gives you that really nice diffused highlight if you like to use it as a highlight shade. So it just gives you that really soft look. So $58, like I said, this is going to be an expensive addiction. What else can I say about it? I don't know. I think that pretty much covers it. So let me know if you guys have any questions or comments about the eyeshadow palette, and I'll tell you what I know. Like I said, I believe as soon as January, Hourglass is going to start making other eyeshadow palettes, and I'm not sure whether they're all going to be available, but I'm sure they'll be at the usual haunting spots such as Sephora and the Hourglass website, as well as other retailers that sell Hourglass. And I cannot wait. I will definitely pick up more. I think this is just so gorgeous, and just, I love the look that I created with it. Like I said, I probably could blend a little more. It is Halloween, so I can get away with a little bit of unblended makeup today. And happy Halloween to all of you who celebrate it. All of those who don't, try to go ahead and enjoy some candy if you can, if that's your thing. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat some candy, find a scary movie, and play with some more makeup. I actually have a bunch of makeup orders that just arrived. So I'm going to be shooting some haul videos for you guys too. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, Tumblr. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you guys in the next video.